Hi Prêt-à-Template designers. In this video, I will show you how to design a sneaker, or one of the ways to design a sneaker using different patterns. So here's the template that I'm going to use, and I'm going to disable two views and leave only the side view. Working on the first layer, I'm going to start right away experimenting with design for my main shoe panel, which is this one. So I will choose one of these colors that I have in my custom palette, and okay, so the template has to be more visible so that the color fill tool can recognize the borders. What I did was increase the opacity, and now I can just tap hold and then just drag and drop the color onto these areas of the template. So this is going to be the main color of the sneaker, and now I want to experiment with different textures, and I'm adding one more layer on top to do that. So I'm going to take another color and check the library to find some of the textures that I might use. So I actually have a lot of space from the side, so I'm going to do it here, and I'm going to swatch it like a few times to get a few different options. I like this pattern, and I'm going to pick one more. So what you can do, you can actually lay two different patterns, one on top of the other, of the same color. You can do that with different colors, and the arrangement of layers matters as well. So depending on which layer is on top of the other, and changing this arrangement will as well give you different results. So you can imagine how many options you can have right there. The look that I'm searching is something somewhat of this technical mesh, or like one of these mesh materials that help the sneaker to the fabric to breathe. And I'm looking also for interesting play of colors, because when they overlay sometimes these different colors in the sneaker, the mesh, you can really get an interesting look, like a moire effect sometimes, or just an interesting mixture of colors. So that's the effect that I want to experiment with. So the thing is that I actually need to add a background of the same solid color that I have on the sneaker, because I want to see exactly how these two patterns overlapped will look on top of this color. So I'm gonna swatch this color right under all my swatches right now to get the final look. So I do love the last option, I think, the most. I think it's the most interesting. I'm not that sure about the color, but I'm sure about that these are the two different textures that I'm going to use. So it's like a small mesh and these speckles. So I've saved that layer and I hid it. And now I've just added one more layer on top of my main color to try and put this texture with this purple color on top of my sneaker and see how that's gonna look like. So now it's time to add that second texture. I'm gonna add one more layer, and I want these textures to be independent, just in case I'm not sure about one of them, or I want to try it in another color. Still in the design process, you know, so I want to keep them separate, so I'll be able to manipulate them separately. And now I'm just adding on top this gray mesh. Now that this is done, I can actually add one more layer and see if I can just experiment a little bit more with color. So I have duplicated the layer with the gray mesh, and I'm gonna pick another color and try just to color drop it there. And yeah, the thing is that I'm going to need to hide the other ones so that it's easier to recognize the exact pattern I need to change. Okay, so now I'm gonna take another direction and I will try to change the background color of this panel and see where that takes me. And I will also take an alternative color and just color drop it there. I may even leave these small ones just to see how it looks. Okay, and I can have two different mesh options. So I'm gonna take one more step and try to get these speckles in green. But in this case, it's gonna be faster to just add one more layer and run this pattern one more time. So now I can check how it looks with different backgrounds. I like the gray more, and then with different mesh colors, I like the gray more as well. Well, I'm pretty happy with this option, so I'm gonna leave it as it is. And I've added one more layer just to see how that looks like with the green mesh as well. I'm planning to end up with like 2-3 different colorways that I'm going to really like in the end of the design process. So I'm just searching for alternatives here. So this is the option that I would like to further develop, and I'm going to pick the slime color to start adding these trims and laces. So I'm gonna just manually draw over these panels, and I will help myself with the drag and drop color fill tool to do that faster. So the next thing, I want to apply some kind of pattern to the lace, because I think that's going to help me achieve the realistic look and bring some of that weaved texture. I'm going to take a look at the pattern library to find something that will be helpful, and I think this one is pretty good. Let's watch it. Yeah, I really like it's like the interweaving pattern of lines, and I probably need to get it darker to make it stand out. So time to add a new layer and start coloring the next panel, and I will take this gray color. So I'm not sure exactly what's the name of the material that I want, but I know the kind of look I'm looking for is a matte foamy look, something that doesn't shine so much. So I want to probably just testing a few colors. So I'm thinking of the color combination for the rest of the shoe altogether, and I think this is going to work well. So now I will just fix this main color and start adding some shadow and light. And now that this is done, I'm going to add one more layer on top of the color of this panel, and I will take a watercolor brush, and to color the surface matte is going to be extremely easy, because I will just take a lighter version of this color and a darker version, and just have this really gentle touch on the side of light and on the side of a shadow to express a volume in a really simple way, and that would be enough. So I had this idea to add airbrushed effect on the outsole, or actually this upper panel, the lower panel, and make this stripe have a stretch of color, almost as if it was airbrushed on top, inspired from some customized shoes, and I want to get that effect as well. So I'm just checking whether it's going to go far up, or just, I think just a little bit is going to be great. And I'm using a watercolor brush on a separate layer to add that effect. And it's also like, it's extremely easy, just a couple of swipes, and I have that ready. Now I'm gonna get rid of the extra color, and that's going to look good. So I want to see how this part is going to look in a different color. So I'm going to try the drag and drop color fill tool to see the other colors effect to this design. So I'm not just illustrating, I'm actually effectively designing as I'm drawing. And that's a cool thing, that you can so easily just check different options. I'm not very happy with this one, I guess. I might just want to try the green one as well. Yeah, I really actually like this. I'm not sure about the red line. I'll probably just use the same green to it, because the idea was that this effect is going to be together with that line, the spray paint effect. So I'll just get rid of these small red touches. So the last panel remains, and I'm going to add a layer. And the only thing, I want to make it very plain, either light gray or white, pretty much using the same technique as I did on the other gray parts. Maybe I want to make it lighter to make it seem like a different material. So now I can choose whether I want that last stripe on the sole to be different color. I've added one more layer, and I want to see how it would look. I really like this purple color there, and I'm adding the same technique to also give it a bit of volume. So yeah, after the shoe is pretty much done, I'm just going to see the colorways that I can add so that I can save like a couple of illustrations, 2 or 3 with different colors. And I will see if this purple can be introduced as a mesh on top and how that would look. Second option done. Hide this layer and I'll try a couple of more. So blue color. Not sure I like it. I can really quickly swatch almost all the different colors I've picked for my custom palette right now to see what looks good. Not so sure about it. So one color I didn't try is black. I like it right away, so I'll just carefully do it once again to save it for later. So now that I'm happy with the color situation, I can finish the line, the green lime line on top of the sneaker, and right now it's flat, so what I want to do is just add some lights and shadows to it. And I'm using a flat marker to do that, and for the color I'm just dragging this toggle up there to get a version of the same color, which is lighter and darker. Really easy to work with. So there's only one thing that's missing, is the outline. If I want to remove the template and get rid of this uniform black outline everywhere, I can just make it barely visible, and I will choose a different outline for each panel that responds to the color to make the shoe look more like a realistic illustration. So I'm using this small ball pen with the smallest size to outline the first panel, and I will follow each panel with the same procedure, but I will be changing colors along the way. it, and by switching different layers on and off, you can save different color versions of your project. I hope you like this video. Please give it a like and subscribe to this channel. Thank you for watching.